All right, guys, I'm not going to preach to you. Don't think that I'm going to turn this into like, a Sunday morning channel or anything. Because I know some people don't like preaching and whatnot. I just want to explain something. This is just trivia. For anyone interested. If you're not interested, all right. But a YouTuber in our community was talking about Leon Valley, Texas. And he said that he started talking about going to heaven and how it's impossible for a camel to go through the eye of a needle, so it's impossible for you to go to heaven. And I don't know, the way the YouTuber was talking sounded as if he thought the eye of the needle was like a sewing needle, the eye of the needle, and a camel can't go through that. I'm going to give you the original interpretation of that. Now, the biblical scripture, again, I'm not preaching. This is just for trivia. The biblical for history. But the biblical scripture is, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. That's their biblical passage. And a lot of people thought, well, yeah, because camels cannot go through the eye of a needle. Camel, eye of a needle. That's not what that means. The eye of the needle, back in the days, biblical days, the kingdoms would lock up all the gates in the evening or at night to avoid thievery, bandits. But you still had wayward travelers who would show up to the city and want to come to the city gate for the night, maybe to stay at the inn or whatever. So what they would do, kiwi. It's a kiwi, mate. So what they would do is they would open this small gate of the city called the Eye of the Needle. And I don't know if that's what they call it. That's what we call it in English terms. It was the Eye of the Needle. And it was a small gate to allow them in to where they couldn't, bum rush the city, thieves and bandits and so forth. It was just one little gate. And they would have the camel kneel. There's no camel at all. So the camel would have to kneel and be dragged in through the gate, at which point the rider could walk through the gate then. So that's why I said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Because rich people, I guess proverbially, how do you say it? Proverbially? Commonly, sound like Porky Pig, but that's all. But commonly, rich people would kneel. Kneel to the Lord or whatever. So, because camels had to kneel to go to the eye of the needle, the gate, and because rich people proverbially, commonly won't kneel, in prayer, that's why it's easier for the camel to get into heaven, because camels will kneel where rich people won't. Now, today is a little different standard and customs and culture, but that's the original thought behind that from back in the day. So there you go. Now, I have given you the rest of the story. I am News Now. You Kaipa.